Welcome to Yissilmissil Productions channel. My name is Steven Yissel, and today, let's talk about it. We're going to be talking today about what's been going on with my channel, how everything's been developing with my new projects and my deep dives, my interviews that I've been doing with others, and also the reach and engagement that I've had on all my platforms. It's just it's incredible. It's incredible how little it is. But yeah, thank you for catching that again, Jason. So I went live. I thought I went live, and I started this, and I was talking for like 5-7 minutes, and then it showed me that I didn't even start live yet. So I went and joined again, and then I came on here, and I had to restart everything. But yeah, I wanted to talk today about everything I'm trying to cram in at the beginning and ends of all my shows. So, what I really want to talk about is all the time that was taken up from doing all of the interviews, all of the phone calls, late night phone calls, talking about the movie industry with Tom Althouse. And how he just, on a flip of a switch, and it's because he has handlers, and he thinks that clout is what's going to get him to, like, get billions of dollars from Warner Brothers. So, I don't know what to tell this dude, but he doesn't want to talk to me. He hasn't reached out to me since that day, the episode 20, or part 23. I have not heard a word from Mr. Althouse. He's Mr. Althouse now. He's no longer Tom to me. And I was saying on my show yesterday, Bermuda Triangle, I talked a little bit about this over there, but I was one of the people assigned to do Tom's documentary. When I showed up at his place, he then proceeded to tell me that he had 2 other people that were working on documentaries, and that he thought that just having the most possible would be best. Then he said he didn't want to do a documentary while I'm sitting in his house. And I hope all of you are listening to this, especially those if you found the link on Instagram and TikTok, or if you got the notifications here on YouTube, or if you found me on Rumble from some off chance, or even Brighteon. I need you to know that, like, all of this stuff, I took it very seriously. But clearly Tom isn't, because I show up, I fly out to his house in Texas from Illinois. I bring all my film equipment to do a proper one-on-one interview, professionally lit, backdrop, everything, more than this. It was going to be in 4K too, so I have a 4K camera. This is my webcam up here for now. But you tell me, did he get cold feet when I showed up that I actually followed through on my conviction? Now, if this guy really wanted resolution, he would be doing everything to have somebody like me in his corner. And he did for a while. And unfortunately for Tom, he has now turned this whole process into, like, with me talking about all this, I could make a documentary on how much of an asshole he turned out to be, being a narcissist. So part 22, I subheaded that show, Narcissists and Giant Egos. And that was because Penny L.A. Shepherd just lost her shit and left Texas because she was caught in a lie, lying to her landlord, who she lived with for 6.5 years. And I was trying to get her on the show here, and I think we'll get her soon. But I mean, I can repost everything that she's already said online. Go to Beyond the Box channel on YouTube and look for I don't know if it's titled about Penny, but it's one of the there's a few interviews with Susie, and Susie's the one you want to hear, because Susie was Penny L.A. Shepherd's landlord, and Susie found all of this. So like I guess Penny did was put all of her own belongings in trash bags that she didn't want anymore, and she packed up her car and left. And like there was more to it. Like she was like doing all this like manipulative stuff with Susie, and I mean there's heavy evidence that Penny L.A. Shepherd tried to poison and kill somebody, and that somebody's Brenda Langridge, who was visiting Susie's ranch shortly before Penny left. And actually, it was directly due to Brenda that Penny got caught in her lie. Now, what I'm sharing is already on the internet. It's already public knowledge. Penny L.A. Shepherd left hundreds of notebooks at Susie's ranch. There were some that were in a shed off property, like off away from the house on the property, that were dated from before Penny even showed up at the ranch, that had notes about Tom Althouse. Yeah. So I'm thinking Penny L.A. Shepherd is not only one sick, twisted individual, but she's also very manipulative. She love bombs, by the way. That's one key indication. But she really seems to be the type of person that gets obsessive compulsive and goes digging deep into who people are. Like, I want to know who you are. I want to know who you are. I want to know who you are. So just for an example, when Tom Althouse went and cut Emma off, Emma the entrepreneur, he was all bent out over that. Like he was talking like he felt betrayed and blah blah blah. And I mean, this is all stuff he shared with me, okay? And he wanted me to record every phone call that we had. So he wants all of this stuff out there. But I'm sorry, but I really think he's so scatterbrained that he can't keep up with who's helping him where and when. Because I don't know why he would cut me off like that. But anyways, for example, with Emma the entrepreneur, when Tom stopped doing shows with her, he made this whole big deal about this other guy that was involved with Emma. What's that matter to you, Tom? So he had told me that he was interested in Emma. And that doesn't sit well. He always talks about wanting starlets and being on yachts and speaking with world dignitaries. He talks about it a lot. And he frames it as his handlers and controllers are the ones baiting him with those temptations. Now, there were a few Twitter exchanges with Emma and this other individual, Gray, where they said "I love you" to each other, and Tom flipped out about it. So you guys can put together however you'd like to think of with that. It's but that's one of many instances. Another one was Chantel from Africa. Now, she was also another host of Tom for quite a long time. Tom eventually said that she called him screaming at him. And he eventually accused her of being a witch. Or Penny L.A. Shepherd is the witch. Okay? And we're talking about witchcraft. The ones that like to practice black magic and satanic rituals. Now, Tom talks about being a man of God, a man of Jesus Christ. But is he a man of Yeshua? I don't know. You know, here over on this channel and on Beyond the Box, we call the one true God, above all, the Father Creator, and his Son, Yeshua, because there was no letter J at the time while he was alive. Now, the word Jesus can be used, and it is powerful. But again, going back to the witchcraft stuff, these witches will use the name Jesus to trick you to think that they are religious. And that may come to a shock to some of you, but they talk about Jesus quite a bit. But then they all have these satanic journals in their closets, stuffed away in the back shed on a ranch, forgotten about, or just thought that it would be tossed out into the garbage. So, yeah, there's all that. So Chantel was a very sweet lady, at least on her live streams. Tom says that a lot of people call and yell at him. I think we need to start thinking about that. Is he frustrating others through his actions and decisions? Has he gone to other people and say, in the memory of my 2 dead sons, please, let's not talk about this anymore? And then he runs off to L.A. to do a UFO conference with David Childress and Carrie Cassidy, who also Carrie Cassidy, stay away from. Cliff High has warned countless times against Carrie Cassidy. She's gone off into this other fear porn angle with AI. And I think that's why Tom is there. Because Tom only wants to talk about Musk and Elon and all of that stuff, right? Neuralink. So, I have a lot of information that I have been sitting on since October, that I have accumulated since 2022. And I think it's about time I start releasing this information. Now, some of this might discredit Tom, and I think it will. Jason, yeah, I think Susie does still have the notebooks. Yeah, I've been following Cliff High for a long time. And, yeah, so just another note that I mentioned yesterday, but I'll mention it here again. Back in March of last year, I went on a trip to North Carolina with family. And when I was in the hotel, Tom calls me. And he says, Steve, I just called John B. Wells. Because I gave him John B. Wells' phone number. I seeked it out. Tom was not in contact with John B. Wells. He calls me in North Carolina. Tom tells me, John B. Wells answered on the first ring. I'm so excited. This is it. This is the one. Sound familiar? Anyways, I was excited for Tom. I took the phone call in my hotel room with my family there. I took the time away to go and talk with him. Now, for Tom to dump on me that I'm trying to pull him away from his time with his son, for this live show. Get lost, Tom. You keep on hiding behind your children the way you do, then you will have no credibility whatsoever, if you have any at all. Okay? I have nothing to lose here. You have everything to lose. You're going to these conferences. You're meeting all these new people that never heard about you. My channel still gets hits from people watching the footage that we created together, where you're just bashing Hollywood left and right. It's great. I love hearing bashing of Hollywood because they deserve it. And we all know it goes a lot deeper than what we've already talked about. And I said before on yesterday's show that there's truth in everything. So even though Tom may be some sort of grifter going on this tour train, talking about the Matrix and Neuralink. Now it's Neuralink. Now that's all he's going to talk about. Neuralink. I put Neuralink in the script of The Immortals and blah, 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 blah. Well, let's see if he put the Neuralink in there. Now, he called it something different. But all of these claims that he's made, that he says is in his script, why don't we look into that script? Why don't we read it page by page and see what it really says and how it really compares page by page, number by number? He can say he found lost pages. He can say that the script that's at the Copyright Office is a amalgamation of two different scripts where part of it in the middle was pulled out. And here's the spot where it was seamed together. See? That whole script that he's holding up in front of him is that one that he says was pieced together. Not the one that he wrote that got stolen. But he says it's very close to it with minor discrepancies, including some of these lost pages. Yeah, Jason, that'd be great. Yeah, Zenray, he is on tour with Carrie Cassidy today. He's in Los Angeles today at a conference with Carrie Cassidy and David Childress, which I am just blown away that the synchronicities of this stuff. I'm doing the Coral Castle stuff, and David Childress has a book that's mentioned in the Coral Castle stuff about the energy grid. This is another author recommending David Childress to look into his work. But then Tom's going out to a conference with this guy. So I want to know. I really want to know. These handlers, or that Tom thinks are his ticket to heaven, so to speak, the path of salvation. Michael Yako, that was the one that I think turned him on me, along with Penny L.A. Shepherd. And, man, it just really, it's a shame, isn't it? It's a shame that I put so much time into all this, because I was really giving Tom the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, Zen, Jason, and Veronica, we could all do an expose together. I'm all fine with that, because this guy needs to stop pulling his shit. When I was there in Texas with him last year on this day, I was there for 2 weeks, okay? I blocked out an entire month to stay with him. And so we had talked about doing 2 weeks. And then about a week in, I keep telling him I could stay longer. If we need more time, I could stay longer. No. He needed me gone by the 18th. That was it. Or at least I think it was the 18th. But yeah. It's just really wild. Really, 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 really wild that I do all of this for Tom. You type his name into Google, and all of my interviews come up. It's just the whole page. The whole first page of Google is Yissilmissil Tom Althouse interviews. So anyone searching for Tom after they've first heard about him, let's say someone found out about him today at the conference in Los Angeles. They Google him up on Google. Guess what's going to come up first? My videos. So Tom, the ball's in your court. You could reach out and talk to me. You call me anytime. You have my number. We've talked plenty of times before. We were supposed to get stuff done. We were supposed to film a documentary, dude. And then you wanted me to write a book. You thought it was the greatest idea. Someone else gave you that idea to write a book, though. You're just not saying who it is. And then you wanted to turn it into 4 books. So were you trying to overwhelm me to make me say I quit, and then for you to say I knew it, I should have known? Tom also said I was his longest lasting host that he's ever had. And his mom said I was like a brother to him. The brother that he never had. So he has siblings. He's estranged from all of them. He still has a good relationship with his mother. His mother saved his ass from the hell of living with Penny L.A. Shepherd, because she told him, do not let that woman move into your house. She would have been living in the guest room where I was staying in. And you know that thing would have been a pigsty too, because she's a fucking mess. But, you know, I don't know what else to say. Oh. So getting back to Emma. Oh, man, there was something I really wanted to say about Emma. But so we were talking about the hosts. So we also had the Code Breakers Real Talk with Veronica. They were also a host, and I know that they've been quiet for a while about everything. But yeah, the longer time passes on, the more that I feel that this stuff needs to get out there. And it's not anything like vindictive or gotcha type of stuff. This is more like, here's what's really going on, and here's what you say is going on. And we're gonna bring the evidence to show what's really going on, and then what he's saying is just gonna fall off to the wayside. Excellent, we got 7 viewers here. This is the most I've had on this channel in quite a long time. I think that calls for... Where are you? Oh man, you gotta be kidding me. No, it's right here. I'm in the mode already. Wake up, Tom. Wake up. You need to wake up, Tom. You're living in a dream world where people are taking advantage of you, where your attention span is like a chicken, and you go with the first person that gives you the right combination of words that makes you feel good inside. All right, I'm done with that. So Michael Yako, another con man here, taking advantage of Tom. And then we have Penny L.A. Shepherd. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So with Emma, when the fallout from Emma happened, Penny L.A. Shepherd messaged me on Twitter. I didn't know who this lady was before that. But she messages me and wants to talk to me. Says she's been watching my Tom Althouse interviews. So I give her my phone number, and I end up going on at like 3-hour call with her where she's just going on and on and on. And she's trying to find out, who are you? Like, she's asking me that. She's like, your last name. I don't know how to find your like your family lineage and your history. Like, what are you? And I get that a lot. My last name is Arabic in origin, but it's my father's Cuban and my grandfather's Cuban, my grandmother's Spanish. She was born in Panama. That's on my father's side. My mom's side, German, Italian. There's a bit of English mixed in there. So I'm a little bit of everything. Okay? So you can't tell me all of this, all these political vibes, these keywords, all that stuff. I don't even want to say it. But that all goes out the window when you find out what my last name is and what it means and all that. But Penny couldn't figure out who I was. And she wanted to know. And she was insistent. Now, keep in mind, she says this about everything, even dogs. She was insistent that my family lineage connected back to Nazi Germany. Because she has to collect all of them. Like Pokemon. I gotta get you in my Rolodex. Give me your phone number so I can talk to you and put you into my whole catalog here. So Penny talks with me for like 3 hours. She goes and talks about, like, she was actually here in Illinois for a bit in a band, and I'm like, how did we not run into each other if I was filming musicians for the past 15 years? Because she was up near Elgin. Like Elgin, Schaumburg, by around Lake Beach, all that area. She was near there. And yeah, after that, she proceeded to just keep an eye on me and Tom, and she kept on telling Tom how much she loves him and blah, 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 and it's all fake, and you can watch it on YouTube, and you can watch it on Rumble. She's that personality where it's just like, just be real for once, lady. Like, I don't even know what she looks like without makeup on, or what her real hair color is. Yeah, Penny was over there, Jason, for quite a while. Hey, History and Whiskey. Yeah, and Zen Ray, I don't know if it was a Norman Bates type of thing. I really don't think so. But, like, you have to think about this. Tom's mom is in her mid-80s, almost her 90s. And she's still living in Pennsylvania, I think Pennsylvania. She was supposed to move in to that house with him. Hopefully he'd be taking care of her. But yeah. Oh, it's great to have you all here. But, I needed to talk about this stuff. Back in October, I had a whole month where Tom blew off 2 interviews, and then the 3rd interview he blew off too, but he was actually there. And I don't know if Zoom sent out the email or not when I created the live. Like, but I was there. I was sitting in the program like this, everything ready. But my phone was like at the back here. And he's texting 5 minutes before showtime. You can see the whole thing in part 23. He roped me off over a 10-minute window. But yeah, so when I visited Tom back in April, which exactly 1 year ago today, I was in his house. Penny wanted Tom and I to visit her on Susie's ranch. And I think, really, Penny wanted to, I don't know, be in close proximity of Tom. I don't know if to, like, to do something to his energy, to control him. I don't know. I really don't know. But she wanted both of us to go down there, or go up there, because we were near Houston. Went up. But it was like a 3.5 hour drive. And I look at Tom, I'm like, no, we're not doing this. Like 7 hours of driving just to say hi to Penny. So when I eventually left Tom's, there was a big storm that was coming through the area up north of Houston. And I decided I wasn't going to drive through all of that rain. I'm like, come on, man. Like, there's like the window wipers going like this, and then just like the sheets of rain coming down. I'm like, I'm going to, like, just driving for hours. If you ever drove cross country, it's not good to have that hypnotizing thing of the window wipers. So I turned around. I did a Yui basically. I went into Walmart. I checked stuff out, got some snacks and stuff, and then I got back on the highway, went back the other way I was coming from, and went to a hotel that wasn't too far down the road. And I stayed in Humble, Texas for a night. And the next day I got on the road. I'm like, all right, I'm going to start heading just right back home to Niles. So let's see how long this takes. And as I start going, it's like about 3 hours in. And it was a nice and sunny day. Really nothing bad driving wise. And I'm like, man, let's see how close I am to Susie's, to see if maybe I can stop by there. And they were like a half hour away. So I called Penny. I'm like, hey, Penny, I'm on my way home from Tom's, and I'm almost in your guys' area. Would it be cool if I stop by for a little bit and say hi? And she's like, yeah, sure, come on through. So I get there. I call Penny, and Penny doesn't answer. So I have to let myself in to the gate with the ranch, and I have to close the gate behind me because of all the ranch dogs. But the ranch dogs were way ahead by the house. So I start driving my rental up, because I flew down to Tom's. Tom got so bent out of shape, he was like freaking out about he wanted to book a plane ticket the day I mentioned I could stay longer. And I'm like, dude, I'm just going to rent a car, because like you're too much, man. Like, I'm just going to rent a car. And he's like, oh, isn't that going to cost more? I'm like, yeah, but it could be less of a headache. It's going to be less of a headache with you, because I'm not going to drive an hour with you in that Mustang that has a blown muffler in it, and where I can't even hear you talk for an hour going to Houston Airport. So, like, forget about that. Like, just drop me off at the rental car place, and then I'll get on my merry way. Which is exactly what I did. And Tom did offer to pay for my plane ticket or partially pay for my rental, as long as I paid him back, because his mom was monitoring his accounts. So his mom controls his finances. And while I was there, he also had to apply for I'll just say it, the SNAP. He applied for SNAP. And he was so happy when he got approved, because he's like, now I could feed my son. Dude, do something else, man. Stop going on Penny's show every day. When I was there, he was doing like 2-3 shows a day. No time to do the documentary with Steve. That's probably why he wrote it off. Oh my God, I got too many shows to do. Well, let's hope that Tom doesn't dress up in a... Well, you know, he has costumes in his house. Now you're making me freak out, Zenray. He has costumes in his house. He used to be a theater director, too, for stage plays. Which I've actually told Zenray before, that he kind of wrote The Immortals like a script for a stage play. And it very well could have been. Yeah, if you go on Beyond the Box, on some of the last episodes where Tom was on, He came out with a lion head mask, like a cartoon lion. I don't know where that thing was from. That thing looked like it was 30, 40 years old. Like a Chuck E. Cheese costume type of thing. But yeah, it's oh, yeah, so let me continue telling about the ranch story cuz I haven't talked about it yet here on this channel. So I showed up at the ranch and like I'm driving up to the house and I call Penny again a second time and she still doesn't answer the phone. And I don't know where she's staying on the property. I just assume the one house I can see is the one she's in. And I was right, but that was just kind of a good guess. But the first greeting I got was from the 20 odd ranch dogs. And what I think is Lucy. This is the one. It's like the main one. Like the instigator. I need to see who you are. Get out of the car. So I got out of the car and I said hi to all the dogs. The dogs loved me. They were so happy to see another person. But another thing is not all dogs will just go up to any person. Like, dogs feel vibes. So I really don't like that saying, oh, they're just happy to see another person. No, they like my energy and they tell that I'm a good person. And there's a reason why all the other dogs stay outside of the house and away from Penny. So, okay. Eventually, I got greeted by Susie, who gave me a tour of her ranch. And then after that is when Penny walked out of her house to say hi. Didn't call back, mind you, so she saw that I called. Chose not to answer. So, trying to think of where else to go with this. I spent the night inside the house where Patty was staying. I don't know how. I don't know how I did that. So I didn't eat any food. I didn't accept any water from her. I had all my snacks in the car from Walmart, right? Thank God I did that in case she was trying to get rid of everyone that was connected to Susie. I dodged a bullet with that because Brenda had to learn that the hard way by accepting water and food from Penny. And that almost cost her her life. All her organs engorged. She was left in the ECU or ICU. She had apparitions come speak to her, tell her everything's going to be okay. And then later on, Brenda found out rat poison does that to your organs and that it's untraceable. This is some sick and twisted stuff here. Penny has said she's killed, the president of Venezuela? Has anybody challenged her on that? To see if it's true or not? So, with all that aside, there's all of these hosts that were hosting Tom. A lot of them were one and dones. Mine almost was a one and done. Thankfully, Tom had multiple emails, and I decided to contact him on one of his second or third ones, and he finally got back to me. And then that's how we proceeded with part 2. And it took a while to get it to its monthly format, and then eventually its live monthly format. And each time we did a show, we were revealing new information, which is why John or Jay Wild or even Jason, like, you guys went and binge watched everything. Took you a while, but I mean, it's a lot of content. I don't blame you. So, yeah, the whole month of October, last year. Tom just kept on putting it up. Like, we scheduled a show, and then he's like, I can't do it. So it's like, okay, we're going to reschedule. I thought we were rescheduling for the next week. And so I asked him the following week. And he's like, oh, what do you mean? We never talked about it. Blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, okay, man. All right, let's schedule for next week. And he's like, okay, I'm writing it in my planner. No, okay, so yeah. So he did that after he said he's writing in his planner. Then that day that we had planned, a half hour before, he goes and he texts me. He says, oh, I had to bring my son's car to Walmart, and we're getting it completely worked on right now. And I don't know how long this will take. And I'm like, dude, you're telling me this a half hour before we're supposed to go live? And then a week later, he's saying that 5 minutes is too long for him to wait. Because I scheduled with him to be on here for an hour plus. We've done 4-hour shows before. But 10:55, it was like by the book. He's like, he didn't even talk like he was part of the interview. He's like, have a great show. And then at 11 on the dot, he's like, are we still on? And then 11:05, he's like, I'm moving on to other tasks for the day. Very snobby goodbye type of response. Which really... Sorry, I just thought about something else that pisses me off. And we're going to show some of it. So while I was at Tom's last year, he had talked about wanting to make a garden for himself. And I'm like, that's cool, dude. Let me help. Yeah, we'll get this going here. There we go. So we have Tom here. Let's see if I can do this. I need to frame this up so both shots can be seen here. I'll make myself small. There we go. So this is a picture that I took while I was at Tom's. So just to give you a rundown, to the right side there is a compost. He really was like fixed on getting a compost during the time I was there, and so he ordered one while I was there, and it showed up, and like I helped him assemble that thing. I put all the screws and bolts into that little green tumbler on the right side. Now, behind him in the center at the fence, that is the second location of a garden, because the first one that I dug out for him, he decided that it wasn't going to get enough sunlight or something else. He just didn't like it where it was. After I dug out this whole section about as big as that behind him. And he's like, oh, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'll do it myself. I'll put the grass back and I'll dig out this new area over here. And he bought all these plants. You see him holding a plant there, right? Good. He's holding plants. He was all so happy about starting his garden. And he knows I'm taking pictures of him here. I'm like, dude, we should totally get pictures of you doing gardening to make you look a little more normal here. Not just talk about the Matrix all the time. You're just a good old dude doing yard work. This is a great shot of him. great shot. Never will be used in except for stuff like this on my channel talking about him. And he's moving the sod. By the way, that trampoline in the back was very, very good for like endorphins. Like I'd get on that thing in the morning, I'd bounce up and down in the sun. I had to be careful with not getting a sunburn being out there too long. But yeah, around the corner of this, yeah, okay, you can see my mouse. So against this wall, behind this side of the house, on the other side, that's where I put the garden for him, where I dug everything out. And there was a big, like, this whole subdivision was like built like this. There were still houses being built across the street when I was there. So this whole thing was just manufactured like there was no tomorrow. Like they need to get these houses up and going. And so in the dirt, there was like this like glob of concrete that I dug out. I had to dig around and take out because like it was just at the surface. Like there was no way to, and I should have just freaking left it there because he didn't use the spot anyway. Wow, Veronica. Yeah, you guys recorded 21 videos with Tom? Yeah, and I did 22. So together, combined, we did 43. So another thing that happened while we were, so we had the plane flyovers and everything, but when we started talking about chemtrails on the show, that's when a lot of the viewership went up. So people who were looking at the chemtrail stuff started hearing about Tom through me, because I was talking about all of this chemtrail stuff happening in the skies, even where he was living previously, and then here, and then me going down there and actually witnessing the planes flying over at night. There are so many just crazy things going on. This back, like, pond, I guess you'd call it, they were draining the water from this thing. I don't know if you could see all the dry up here. It was really high. And they put a pump in that they let run for like 4 days nonstop, day and night, uninterrupted. Just sucking all of this water out of this pond. And there's Tom like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm like, why don't you go over there and ask him what's going on? Because it's disturbing us. And he's like, oh, no, it's probably whatever. So here's the location where I was originally. And he was still trying to start. So he had not 100% committed to using the other side yet, because we laid down dirt and everything, and then he was starting to open up this other side while doing this. So I think what happened was, at first he didn't want to outright reject my work, and he's like, oh yeah, this is great, we'll keep both gardens, we'll do both. And then he went and sodded this area all back up, and actually you could see here half of it he had already sodded up. So he covered half of it up and said, we'll keep both, but we'll cut yours in half. And then he got rid of mine completely after. He's like, yeah, we'll just keep the one. And then he was so excited about having all of these plants and being able to grow his own food. Here's his banana tree. And he was talking about like, oh, there's one day in Texas where like it could get below freezing and that could kill the whole plant, so you need to put like a bucket on it for that night type of stuff. So like he knew how to take care of these plants, right? Right? At least I thought he did. And see, all those squares, all that sod, all he's doing is putting it back. He's not like this work right here, that's all he's doing is putting it back. I don't know what's going on here. Because it looks to me like he's digging here. To get all the old stuff out. And he had a cat. Now I think he has 2 cats. That's going to be it for the... But anyways, to wrap up this whole part with the garden. This garden here had started getting sprouts. And over the summer, not sure what he did with it, but by, I want to say September, October, I asked him about the garden. I'm like, how's the garden going? And he's like, oh, it died. Excuse me, Tom? The garden that we worked so hard building up, you just let die? Like all the other work you do? Mm-mm. Oh, I think this is worth showing. These were all the notes I was taking for Tom while I was there. All useless notes now. Unless I put it together for a documentary, like I said. Right? So, there's all that going on. Man, ain't that crazy? Yeah, you let the garden die. And meanwhile, I have a ladyfinger plant. I should just show it. Look at that thing. And I also have like 12 or 13 Thai chili peppers, like plants that are growing right now in the house. One of them's been growing since May. So I've had these plants. I've taken care of them. The only ones that died were the ones that I put outside last year in the summer. Once I placed my pepper plants outside, they stunted growth. They stayed small. And when I brought them back in for the winter, they died. The other ones that I have, that I never brought outside, they're still thriving. They're full mature plants. But yeah, Tom was talking about being self-sufficient and having this garden where he can have all his own food. And then nothing happened. This is good to show. I want to give you a peek here. Oh, okay, I gotta redo it. Where is it? Let's see. Can I zoom in? Oh, what's that? I'll just give you guys a few minutes to digest what's on screen. Now I will let you all know here that everything you're seeing on screen, I've looked at every single page I've not read them all, but I've looked at every single page. And I'm not happy with what I've already read in the last one. Yeah, I really think some super stream going over the last one with all of you, getting multiple people in here, other hosts, I think that would be a grand idea. Don't you agree? It would be an absolute shame if all that just... Well, I mean, no, it wouldn't be a shame, right? Because this is all public knowledge. This is all in the domain. This is all in the domain, people. You see this? See all those pages? Yeah, that's all in the domain. Copyright. So, we've learned a lot about copyright throughout this whole series, haven't we? We've learned that just like with the film Deep Dive series, Edison was stealing other people's creations later on in his career because somebody stole one of his creations and patented it before he was able to. And then we have this thing with Tom Malthouse where he apparently, while under some sort of influence from Pat Robertson, he wrote this immortal script where he says he was directly spoken to and given this story from God. And my question is, which God? Because clearly this didn't end up the way that he had planned. It did not bring him fame and success. It did not change the world as he wanted it to. But you know, the truth is going to be put out there for everyone to digest and then come to their own consensus. Because I can't make up everybody's minds for them. You have to walk through the door yourself. Now, if there's not a red pill, blue pill scene in The Immortals, I am going to be quite upset. But in the first 12 pages, I could already tell you that there's no police chasing Trinity and going to a phone booth to jack out of the Matrix and the agents chasing her. All of that's not in the first 12 pages. I'm telling you that right here, right now. Yeah, Zen. Yeah, it's not mine either. And what was, I don't know if like Penny was saying that like her god is like government of defense or something. I don't know. It's just some crazy stuff, man. Now I get that people have been through a lot of traumatic experiences in their life. I can understand that like Tom could have been naive in his younger years, joining Pat Robertson and getting set up with these ladies who took advantage of him. But like after a while, like you can't keep making the same mistakes over and over again unless you're just not learning. Like how do you marry two people And both of them turn out to be honeypots. And at this point, I don't even know if that's an accurate thing. I don't know if he's been married once or twice. I can't recall at this point because I haven't touched the material in so long. But like, he's estranged from his sister. He's estranged from his brother. I think he has brothers. Not sure about that. He has, I believe, a daughter. Does he have a daughter? No, it's his sister he's talking about. His sister's estranged from him. And then he had 2 older sons, which he had like the pictures in some like little stack way in a back room somewhere. So he was living in this house for just a few months when I got there, but no pictures on the walls of his deceased sons. Something you'd think that he'd have some sort of dedicated part of the house to, because he says it's always on his mind, and that's the reason that he talks to himself while he's prepping food or doing things. All right, I gotta do this and this, and this is just how I work. Like, that's the way Tom explained it to me. If it's always on his mind, why doesn't he have something to remind him of it? Of the good stuff. Yep, Zen. He is a narcissist and perpetual victim. Because here I was, ready and willing to help him, and he refused my help. And this is after all of those interviews that we did. I forget what interview we were on at the time. Back when I was visiting with him. Oh yeah, and so there's also a live stream on my channel where I'm just like sitting in my room. Or no, where I'm sitting in his living room. Let me get over there. I should be able to find a quick shot of it. So like, I had this plan of like, let's go live together. Let's go live together, Tom. Like, on the same screen. So let me bring this up here. Since he would not, he's like, I don't know, I can't do it. Like, it was just something he said he couldn't do it. Okay. It's a little weird. I'm trying to get this up. Just give me a second. Oh, I guess I can't do it. It's called It's Saturday Q&A. We're live. I'll just put it in. You know what? I'm going to link it right here. I'm going to put it in the chat for you. I call this my hostage video. Because Tom wouldn't go on screen with me. Like he didn't want to be on screen talking about any of this stuff. It's so silly. Yeah, for some reason OBS doesn't want to share this YouTube window. That's fine. Don't need it. So yeah, what I just showed you today, especially those folder shots, it's very very damning for Tom for me to even be showing what I showed. He thinks he's the only one with a copy of his script besides maybe the Wachowskis or whoever else he thinks stole his script. But he said anybody can get it and that it's available at the Copyright Office. Yet he still has not requested that Tom Hanks Immortals, like, 3-page script that's also at the Copyright Office. That's 2 months after his. Which, why wouldn't you want to look at that? Are you afraid that it would be something completely different? And you wouldn't be able to trash Tom Hanks anymore? Yeah, no problem, Jason. Yeah, this was one that I didn't. So it has like 66 views. It says 11 months ago. It streamed on April 13th of last year. So that was. I was 11 days in. Oh, well, good question, Jason. So Tom says, like, this is his claim, that Sophia Stewart was an agent hired by Warner Brothers to help muddy the waters and throw his case by introducing all of this nonsense about her being the mother of the Matrix and the Terminator and all of that stuff. But then the whole thing reads like an 8-year-old's 2D cartoon of if the Truman Show had like aliens inside of the dome. And I'm very happy with that eloquent summary of that. But you could go on YouTube. There's a few people that have bought Sophia Stewart's book, and the story has nothing to do with the one that we know as The Matrix. And I think she just threw the Terminator thing on just to add clout. And then Tom's doing the same thing. So, again, my apologies, but you're doing the same thing, Tom. By saying Game of Thrones, all these other new TV shows, one right after the other. Every little thing you watch on Netflix has some reference to your script. Like, dude, you gotta limit it. Focus on things. Not just jump from one thing to another. Dissect things. Not just say, oh my God, this was made to provoke me. I can understand with the stuff that's related to The Matrix and the stuff related to Joel Silver and the other producers and people behind the scenes at Warner Brothers. And then, yes, you did get an attorney and you went on to this. You actually went to court. TMZ covered you on this. But, like, dude. Stop trying to say, like, the good wife. Okay. I guess I won't tell him to stop saying that. He can say whatever he wants. The good wife stuff, he starts saying about this is what, like, his sister used to joke with him about. Like, certain sayings that he used to have with his family is put into this show. How do these people find this out? Beats me. Like, my whole thing with the man shot being used in the series finale of Breaking Bad, like, that's actually legit. That's a shot that I did, like 16 months or so, or 15 months before that Breaking Bad episode aired. So they can't say they shot it before I did. And like, the crew on my film that I was working on, The Man, they were comparing the script to Breaking Bad, which I hadn't even seen yet. The Man is a short film. I'll link it here too. Why not? The Man's a short film I made in 2012 for my Columbia College Directing 3 project. Let's pull this up. I'll link it here because it's like a 9-minute film. Or 9 minutes, 52 seconds. It had to be 10 minutes. We'll talk about Sophia Stewart, too. So, I did do a little, like, looking around online to see what Tom's been up to. He was on a new show with, like, 20,000 subs or something. And the whole concept of this interview show he did was he was going to debate Sophia Stewart openly. And he put out a challenge to her on Twitter or something. And surprise, surprise, she didn't show. Did she even know about it? That's another question. An explanation could be that she didn't think Tom's worthy of her time. That she just likes fucking around with him because she thinks he's loopy. But she's the one going around in Las Vegas. She's living in Las Vegas right now saying Matrix on her Twitter. And John B. Wells even agreed that he interviewed her as well. So John B. Wells interviewed Sophia Stewart and Tom Althouse. And I don't know if Sophia Stewart's thing is still up online there, but Tom's first interview with John is no longer there. But the second and third ones are definitely there. I think there's only two. There might be three total. There might be a third one that's still up. But even John B. Wells is like trying to wrap his head around this. The whole situation of Tom. He's like, okay. Like, you could tell even John B. Wells was having a difficult time wrapping his head around what was being talked about. Like trying to piece together things because we're talking about stuff from like 89 and 2001 and 93 and 98 and 2013 and 2011 and 2017 and 2010 and 2013 and 2002 and 2006 and 94 again and 98. And we can't jump around like that's every single show with Tom. And let me tell you about The Attorney and there's with Pat Robertson and Warner Brothers and Wachowski. That's why I made this whole thing like he's like the Franklin J. Frog from Warner Brothers. And I put him in my thumbnail with Tom's photo on it. I called it Franklin J. Frog now. I keep calling it Franklin because of my uncle. My uncle's Franklin. Sorry to do this, but it has to be done. Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire. That's Tom. Let's go all Tom there. And I say that because here he is on this show. 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 I'm fine that he's getting everything out there. But it's the same tune. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. And that's why I call Tom a perpetual victim. Because he has a performance. Tell me if I'm saying lies. I tried to hone Tom in. I'm like, all right, we've talked about this already. Now let's talk about this. And for the most part, he followed along. He was able to talk about stuff he didn't talk about anywhere else. But it's almost like once he got onto Roseanne. So when I was in Texas with Tom at his house, that's when he was planning things with the Roseanne show. He was planning how he was going to get there. He was planning like the day, all the calculations. Like what he was going to talk about and what he's going to wear and this shit. And so he was excited about it. Like, and I I supported him for being excited about it, right? Because she's such a prolific person. She's well known, and that's how some of you actually have found me on my channel here. So he was setting all that up then, and I don't think it happened until like June or July, and then it wasn't released until maybe August, I want to say. I'm just going based off of my spotty memory here. But after he went on there, it took a while for him to actually have the show happen, and then it took a while for it to release because they were editing it. And he was saying that people were saying he didn't ever go and this and that. So I was like, hey, dude, just tell me the day and I'll tell all my followers when it'll be released. And he told me. And so that's what I told everyone. And then I guess I misspoke and I said I told my audience a different day. And he said, what? So he got really like bent out of shape that like I was going to be giving misinformation out about what day it was going to show up. So like, okay, I said it a day early or something, but that was just me misspeaking. It wasn't what I actually put out. I put the correct date out online, and then when I was on the phone with him, I said a different date, and he's like, "No, that's not the date." Wow, Zen, there it is. So I got John B. Wells' phone number and gave it to Tom. Tom called John B. Wells. John B. Wells answered on the first ring, set up an interview with him first thing within a month. Or no, it was within a week, actually. He's like, let's get you on next week. And then the following month when I was there in April, he did a second one. And that's when he was also talking about the Roseanne thing. He's like, oh, it's all coming together. We got John B. Wells. We got Roseanne Barr. We got this and that. The lid's going to flip. It just is going to let it all out. Wow. Wow, this is amazing. You have a lot more clout than you give yourself credit for, Zenray. I'm absolutely convinced that we have to do this multi-person live stream addressing all of this stuff like I'm doing right now. Because it needs to be talked about. And people need to know what's going on. Because the more, like, by the way, Zen, did you ever get a thank you, like a proper thank you from him on that? Or was it just like a fleeting one? Like, oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Zen Ray. That's pretty incredible. Yeah, so when Tom went on Roseanne, he did this thing with his hair where he like split it. And I don't know if it was to like cover his temples here to like hide his balding, but he's in his 60s. What is he so concerned about? Look at me. Think I give a shit about that? I used to when I was in high school. When I lost it all. I've been hair free for like 16 years. It's not even a thing anymore. But here's Tom, probably putting in the Just for Men. Keep in mind, he's in his mid 60s. And he was talking with me, and we were able to communicate pretty well on here. Nothing. He didn't thank you at all. Hold on. He didn't thank you at all. Shit. I didn't want to max out the audio there. But that's ridiculous. Tom also had mentioned about how I would be going on these shows with him going forward. He said multiple times, I am now part of the story. But am I now just like his script? Am I that section that was ripped out in the middle? And now he's stitched up his story and Steve's no longer there, guys. It's just Michael Jaco, Penny, L.A. Shepherd, Carrie Cassidy, and whoever the fuck else is controlling them. Right? And I think I'm on a roll today here. This stuff needs to be addressed. And Tom, you did this to yourself. Because I gave you this platform, which I'm pretty sure blacklisted me on YouTube. Besides all the board meeting political bullshit I was dealing with before. That's unreal. So Tom never thanked you for getting him onto Roseanne's show because you reached out to his son, or her son, and he just so happened to see the message. Yeah, that was something he used to tell me too. We're all going to be on a yacht with our little starlets and speaking with world dignitaries. He's going to be laying out policy with Trump and Putin and George Soros and Jeffrey Epstein. You'll get all your little starlets you want on that island, Tom. You put yourself in a precarious situation where you say that you like these young, petite girls, and that these handlers know that you like them, and that you're 65 years old, and you're wanting to hook up with 30-year-old chicks. Now, I know in the Hollywood world, it is pretty normal. I mean, that's kind of a Leonardo DiCaprio thing, right? Dating younger all the time. Yeah. So, D Nash Vegas, you make a good point. I'm glad that you watched some of mine. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's very hard to follow. I have so many notes. Hold on. I'm going to take out my notebook. I'm going to show you just like how extensive some of these notes were. So I'll be right back. Let me go get that. I'm going to cue this little thing here. Just give me a few minutes. I'll start over again. I was doing these notes, and I haven't even transcribed everything anymore. Like, I just stopped. I stopped doing these notes. So I put together this book, Tom Althouse Notes. It's not really, it's a notebook. It is not a book. Thank you. Yeah, I gotta look at the chat a little more. I'll show you everything again with my commentary. So I said, I wrote here, this notebook is a testimony to the innocence of Tom Althouse. I then went in and tried to start organizing everything. I wrote all of Joel Silver, I wrote all of the movies down that Tom claimed stole his work. So I have to move this, I'm sorry. It's just getting in the way of the camera here. All right. The inserts. Films with inserts confirmed by Tom. And this is all chronological. Forever Young, Ghost in the Shell, Jumanji, The Matrix Reloaded, The Animatrix, Matrix Revolutions, Minority Report, Ratatouille, The Dark Knight, The Walking Dead, Inception, Star Trek Into Darkness, Bates Motel, Oblivion, Elysium, Black Sails, Interstellar, Sense8, Man in the High Castle, The Good Place, Home Again, Darling in the Franxx, Altered Carbon, Good Omens, and Space Force. Those were the major ones that he said they took everything. And you can see I wrote this 3 months before I went to Texas to visit Tom. It says he's quoting, that's like me quoting Tom, quoting them, using up the rest of the story. Yeah, I know Philip K. Dick did Man in the High Castle, but he still insists. He still insists. Now, I understand there's this whole thing where you could say they did an adaptation of the book, but then they inserted these things just like with The Matrix. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I guess a good example for comparison would be when Stanley Kubrick made The Shining. He did not have in the script written that Danny, when playing in the hallway, kneeling on the carpet, that he would be wearing the Apollo 11 sweater. That was nowhere in the script. That was brought out on set the day of and given by Kubrick to the actor playing Danny to wear that Apollo 11 sweater. So it just happened like that on set where like nobody could question it. Just boom, it happened. He had it ready. He had the little small sweater for this kid. So he planned to put that in. That's an Easter egg. That's an insert. Okay? That's the same. The things Tom is talking about with inserts, that's Easter eggs. Apollo 11 sweater in The Shining, total Easter egg. Total insert. Total message to everyone are you paying attention? Now, based off of that, that's why I go and really, man, I'm having a brain fart now because I just read the comments. Okay, to get back to this, Tom's claims of it being, of all these things being put in the Matrix that's from his work, I was able to follow along because of Easter eggs, because of all of this stuff where I know people do book adaptations and then they change stuff. Just look at the Harry Potter franchise. They cut entire scenes out of those movies. And cut entire characters out. I think I know. It's just been too long for that. Alright, I was showing you the rest of this, and I was saying while I was muted that I don't care if you guys screenshot this later for your future use, but this is everything I was trying to make sense of what Tom was talking about. And I was saying, I was even trying to connect everything. Nadia Santino, Tika Ball. I'm trying to get this to focus in here. Oh yeah, and while I was also muted, I mentioned about the 2009-2014 case. Yeah, it sure is. Kate Chilton, Pacer, Randy Quaid, Nicholas Jackson, which I thought that was funny because I'm watching pro wrestling right now and there's a person that nobody really likes called Nicholas Jackson. Yeah. Not sure why Sarah Westall's listed there. And I'm not sure why I have these notes. Some of them are just going off the rails here. Yeah, I was saying this before that there's truth in everything, but we don't know how much is embellished right now. That's that's my safe answer. If you ever want cliff notes on what Tom's next interview will be like, that is Tom's main attack. Any show he goes on, he will mention one, if not all, of these names. Every time. And I'm pretty sure those are notes that he gave me to write down himself. Write this down. Main attack. See, I don't know if Red Pill 78, the host, is doing anything with him anymore. I don't believe that, like, there's a lot of these hosts that aren't hosting Tom anymore. And you gotta wonder if Tom was just cutting everybody out, right? Yeah, so to say something about what you said, Jason, with The Man in High Castle being by Philip K. Dick. Tom seemed to believe that they took liberties in, like, scene interactions with characters and then what symbology they were showing, which is what convinced him it was somehow connected to him. But when you go in here, when you stop just saying they stole the Matrix, and then you start saying they've been taking my work since 93, starting with Forever Young, Ghost in the Shell, Jumanji, and then The Matrix, the Minority Report, putting his son's in there. Ratatouille, I still don't know what the Ratatouille one is. He probably mentions it somewhere in one of my interviews with him. Funny he has Bates Motel in there, huh, Zen? 2013. It'd be funny to ask him about that. My mother. Let's just hope that Tom is not like Norman Bates. Yeah, and then see, Altered Carbon is 2018. Yeah, that was a good show. I watched that first season of that. Excellent show. As far as Tom saying I wasn't professional, these are my notes for, like, this is like after part 14. We're planning part 15. And this is what I wrote down. All topics to talk about. And the ones I circled were the ones we did talk about. Like, for sure. And then everything else, if we got to it, we got to it. Sorry. Trying to hold this as steady as possible. I'm human. I'm not a machine. Go get a robot to hold something straight. No, the storefront window one is Animatrix, where he was like, there's this whole, I don't know. It's weird that they call it an antique house in the Animatrix. It's very weird. Not an antique store, but an antique house. You're sad that what's no more, Jason? The collaboration with Tom? Like I said, like he had me sign up for Pacer. Look at that. So I mean, this says thank you for your interest in public access to court electronic records service. All registered agencies or individuals are charged a 10 cents per page fee for access to Pacer. So like you have to pay to get these court documents. Although I doubt it'd be over $10 to get everything on Tom's case. Oh, yeah. So halfway through my time visiting him, he was getting pretty frustrated that we weren't making progress on the book, even though I was there for the documentary, and we were making a lot of progress on the book, but I just wasn't moving as fast as he liked. Like my hand is cramping up and everything. I had to move to writing down notes. Sorry, I had to resort to writing down notes on my phone because using the thumbs were so much less stress on my hand than writing on a page like this. So as he's talking, I'm like transcribing what he's talking about, and I have so much of that too, where he's just going on and on and on, and I recorded some of that too. It just took him so long to get it all out. He would be like talking and then pause. And then almost like Zenray had mentioned that it was like he was making it up as he went on. Like when you're recalling something, you don't take forever to get it out. And you know what I mean? Saying it like that. And then Sophia Stewart asked me to do. It's like the teacher from Ferris Bueller. Bueller. Does anyone know what economics? Voodoo economics. Yeah, digging the garden too. I was doing a lot. I was trying to take him out of whatever bad place that he was letting himself be in, you know? I wanted to see him have closure. I wanted to see him make more projects. Hell, some of the people that were watching the interviews while we were still doing them were saying, Tom, why don't you make your new projects? Make something just on the fly. Put it out there. Put a name to your work and put it out there. And then when people find that work, then maybe they'll believe that your immortal script was stolen for the Matrix. But you're not helping yourself at all, Tom, by cutting all your hosts out that are trying to help you, that contact you. But you'd rather go on shows with like 59 subscribers. But then you also like strive to go toward Roseanne Barr. So you're all over the place, man. Like, are you just accepting everything that comes your way? Like, no wonder you've been duped so many times by people with bad intentions. Not like me. Like, I have all the best intentions here. Wow. Yeah, Zenray. Zenray says, that is funny. I am not a professional, and he called me one. And you are the professional, and he said you weren't. Irony. Yeah, very ironic. And again, I am the filmmaker that he invited me to go to his house in Texas for filming his documentary. And then when I show up, he wants a book. No, I don't think we should. I feel God's telling me we should write a book. I really think that's a good idea. I ran this idea past my mom too, and she says that we should do the book. Well, fuck, man. Yeah, you got it. You hit the nail on the head, Zenray. D Nash Vegas. Just to let you know, the Animatrix scene, it's in the detective story, and the scene is inside. So there's two different shots. There's one where the detective is driving, and you're seeing all the things go past him as he's driving, like the storefronts and stuff. And one of them, there's a Mopar sign, and I think it's like reflected in reverse. It's either like that in that shot or the following one inside the store. So Mopar is reversed. And so Tom is thinking that like his name is going out one way and his last name's going out the other way. See, look, it's Tom P. Tom Park. And then Antique House, A House. What are we going to tell him? No? And then he doesn't talk to anyone that tells him no. But yeah, Tom did not have a game plan. He still doesn't have one. I'm very sure of it. Like, it's all this talk and speculation. It's time to make a choice, Tom. You ready to wake up? I waited a long time to talk about all this. I don't even know if he's ever going to see this. I'm sure he'll take a peek. I'm sure Penny will show him. Because she'll probably, if she's not here already, hiding. You see, these narcissists, they like to pick on the ones they think are weak. And so that's why they're tormenting Beyond the Box right now. These are sick people. These are sick people playing around with people who are just normal, trying to live their lives. who've had bad things happen to them. It's just not right. And then you throw in all of this trauma along with it, and it's very hard to strain out all the defects. And by defects, I mean like the misinformation, basically. Right? Because there's no other... Like, he was talking about this library of evidence. Also, I gave Tom the idea to make TomAlthouse.com. I said, use your name. He's like, oh, no, it's too pretentious. I don't want to... I'm like, dude, I have my own website, my name, StephenYissel.com, and it redirects to YissilmissilProductions.com. But still, he was insistent, like, no, I don't want to use my name, and blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, all right, how about TomAlthouseStudio.com? He's like, ooh, I really like that. So I went ahead and I purchased the domain for it. I'm like, all right, $30, boom. Got it free for a year. I got something to show you here. Just give me a second. Okay. Oh, that's not it. Here we go. On Tuesday, Weebly, TomAlthouseStudio.com is about to expire. It will expire on April 8th. If you don't want to renew any domain connected services like website, and see, it's addressed to me. So you know I'm speaking the truth here. So that link would redirect to my website, but on a page for Tom. And I was going to dump everything about Tom on there and let him put stuff on that he wants to. He never utilized it. Never. So I had gotten that in April. And by October, zero was done with that by October. May, June, July, August, September, October. I had it 6 months while I was still talking to him, and he spoke not a word to me about using that website. And then he eventually created his own website. And while I was at his house, he was just nonstop on the phone with this chick named Jen, who ran this magazine thing or whatever. And I'm sure she's the one that's running his TomAlthouse.com right now. But also, I think she's also a handler in a way, because she kind of just popped up out of nowhere and is just sucking up all his time like a succubus. Oh, he's just sucking up all his time, all his energy. But then at the same time, he's saying the same things to her as he said to other hosts of, oh my God, it's so great to finally talk to a smart person. It's like, I can't believe you are even talking like that, dude. Because you just go ahead and you're just throwing shade on everybody else. Yeah, Zen, you're saying... Zen says, I bet Carrie Cassidy rolls with it instead of calling it out for what it is. We'll see. Yeah. You see, Tom depends on limited, brief interactions where people cannot deep dive into things that concern them or have questions about. Like I honestly want to say that like he got offended that I asked him to follow through with his obligations, like being on my show, like we planned. And the reason he got offended by that is because he chose to change his schedule without notifying me. And he changed it by using his son as an excuse. Oh yeah, Zenray. He probably thinks we're, as he's been quoted saying before, dumber than a box of rocks. That's what he thinks of us. But he can't even keep a thought in his head together. Now, he was able to talk about things with me on this channel. And we were able to follow along, right? But he was always trying to just jump off the track. Just jump off the track. What can I do? I can only do so much. I'm just looking at something here. Yeah, it's just really... It's a shame. It's just an utter shame. Because I did all of this work. I was prepping... I was prepping to do the documentary and then the books. Plural. And then he expected me to just give it all to him on a silver platter and have John B. Wells just fund the whole thing with GoFundMe. Man. He just expects everything to work. Everything just needs to work for him. Yeah. And then, yeah, Zen says, it was an excuse for sure. You know when you need to be at a car appointment more than half an hour beforehand. Just saying. Yeah. It's something I've noticed with people who are damaged. Or maybe even narcissists in general. They know that we have emotions and that we are vulnerable to feeling sympathy for others. So, Tom's not the only one who's hid behind their children so that they're not accountable for their own actions. And that's exactly what Tom's doing here. Because the last thing he said to me is in honor of his 2 dead sons, that we don't speak about this anymore. Excuse me? He's going on all of these shows, on all these other programs, in honor of his 2 sons, isn't he? So in a way, he's telling me to shut up so that he can keep talking. Is that right? Is that right? And these other less mature hosts, I will say mentally less mature, okay? They're not emotionally mature. Some of them, they took down all of the Tom Althouse interviews. And that's more of enough view to Tom. But with this channel, all of them are staying up. Because I want you all to find what happened at the end of all this. Because I think that's the most important thing out of all. After all those interviews, after 2.5 years of everything, he decides to throw all that away over a little time discrepancy. Just a little time discrepancy. And, let's see if I can find anything else here. Yeah, we're the most viewed video on this channel right now. I thought we were gonna have some Althouse ones here. Let's see. Does this work? No. Okay. I'm gonna show you YouTube analytics. All right. So these are the most viewed videos right now on the channel. Number 4 is my first interview with Tom, which was May 20th of 2022. It's almost 3 years ago now. And the second most watched video is the last one he was on, part 22. Ain't that funny? And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 shorts of Tom. And then you have 1 public comment. Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is Tom's videos are still getting traction here. There's new people still finding this stuff. And now I feel my channel is going to be that reference point of like finding out what's really going on with Tom. Because I have more clout than most people that have had him on their shows. Where I've gone to his house, I've met him in person. I physically like know that he's there, you know? Like, he's not just some figment of my imagination. When I met him at the airport, I gave him a big old hug, man. Gave him a big hug. Because that's what I do. And you know, I think that that relaxed a lot of things. Because I think he was like racing to get to the airport to pick me up. It's like, dude, calm down. Like, he lived an hour away. And he talked like he was 15, 20 minutes away. So when I said I'm here, then he's like, oh, I gotta go. And then he just fucking he just speeds down the highway to get to me. To pick me up. But yeah. It's just incredible. So I do hope that my channel is now going to function as like a landing pad for most of the new people and the people that are already familiar with Tom Althouse. And hopefully they watch this and they watch part 23 and they really see what I had to endure here. Because really, I opened this channel up to Tom so that he can get his message out. And man, he got a lot of views here. Like, man, even just the shorts alone. The shorts alone, he got over 10,000 views. And then with the regular interviews, maybe 8,000, 9,000 total. Probably a little more. Because like the first interview's almost at 7,000. Oh, it's not letting me look at it. But yeah, it's almost at 7,000 now. It's just unfortunate. And I told him too, like I told him well before all of this fell apart. I told him I'm a different kind of videographer. I put everything on the blockchain on Odyssey. Odyssey.com will stay up for as long as the internet's up. YouTube I can't say as much because they pull shit down all the time. But think about all the places I have these videos. Like the videos from this channel are also on Rumble, Brighteon, Odyssey, TikTok, Instagram, Rumble, if I didn't say that already, BitChute. I have a Minds.com account I haven't used for years. I might go in there and start uploading things on there. But the point is that, like, I had the reach for Tom to get his message out. And then he just decides that it's not worth pursuing anymore here with me. Like, it reminds me of that I don't know if it's a story or just a folk story of a man who bought a mine looking for gold, and he started digging, And he kept digging and digging and digging, and he hadn't found anything yet. And he dug until he had no more money. And finally, he's like, you know what? I'm going to sell this cave because there's no gold in it. And he sells it. And the person he sells it to continues the work he was doing, digging. And it turns out he was mere inches away from an entire gold reserve that would have made him wealthy forever. And that, I think, applies to Tom here, where he's had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to make his documentary, to be on these major television networks, these internet shows. You have to think about this. John B. Wells and Roseanne are directly because of this channel. Tom wouldn't have been on there if it weren't for me interviewing him here. Plain and simple. Zen already confirmed that. And then I confirmed with you about the John B. Wells stuff. Oh, Jason, I like that idea. We'll get our show on Kinetoscope. So is it going to be the one with the hand crank, the single viewer one? If I could get everything into a picture book, I would. I actually have a picture book here. Give me 1 second, and I will. I'll get that for just to show you what a picture book looks like here. All right. So I have a picture book. I have about like 7 of these. And this one's from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. It says, "The Film Classics Library presents the most accurate and complete reconstruction of a film in book form. Over 1,300 frame blow-up photos shown sequentially and coupled with the complete dialogue from the original soundtrack allow you to recapture this film classic in its entirety at your leisure." And I think if worse comes to worse, this is the best way to document a movie. Every single shot, if there was movement, like zooming in, they show that there's movement. This is a little risque. But you know what I'm saying. Like, this is so fascinating to me. And these aren't made like this anymore. There's only, man, there's about, I think, a dozen of these books. So there's only a few left that I need to get. But imagine having this for like some of these modern classics. Wow. All right, one more and then we'll talk about something else. Yeah, this is a really neat book. But that's how you document film in the best way. The only thing is you lose the audio, you lose the visual experience of the pictures moving. So you know, No, I was going to say something about like a modern kinetoscope, but not sure how that would work. You'd need something that doesn't totally rely on electricity. But yeah. Man, I'm so glad you're all here today. And we've been keeping a pretty consistent viewership here. But it should be a lot more. Man, we've been going for 2.5 hours. How are y'all feeling out there? Almost 2.5 hours. Yeah, I needed to talk about this stuff today. And there will be more shows like this. I will be getting into this stuff. And Zen and I need to do a show. And I'm glad that you're more open to it now. Now that some time's passed. It's just, we didn't know what to do. We didn't know what was going on at the time. I had even said that, like on that part 23, I said that there's a possibility that Tom can be compromised. So, at this point now, it's like he's continuing to talk about all this stuff. He's not letting it go to like honor his sons. He's continually going out to spread this stuff to other people. So, the best that I could do here is let everyone know that he's not speaking with me anymore because of something with the live stream. And yeah, I mean, you've seen it here. Like they're like doing a live stream is very, very tricky. And OBS has been very easy for me, but at the same time, I still have the hiccups. You still get this stuff happening. Like it's just me running this show here. So I do need to rely on you guys in the comments to be like, oh, there's no audio. And it definitely helps. Like, I don't even want to imagine if I did this whole thing without audio. But it's good. It's good stuff. I'm glad you all are here. And by the way, I wanted to talk about the new deep dives that I have planned going ahead. So there's 2 new ones that I want to do, which would bring us to 5. 5 different series. So I'll start with the old ones first, just to recap you guys. On Tuesdays, I have the deep dive into Edleed Skolnish and his Coral Castle. And we're doing part 10 this Tuesday. And we are doing it. We will go live. Well, I was doing it at 6:05. If that works for you, let me know. I could do it a little earlier because I'd rather have you guys here that are here now. But I was doing it at like 4:30, and then I was doing it at 5. I was trying to go later and later because I was having people show up at the end of the stream. So like, okay, I guess I should just do it later then because more people will show up. And so I have the deep dive on Tuesdays about the Coral Castle. Thursday, I have the Bermuda Triangle deep dives. Saturday, I have the Chicago film industry deep dives. And Sundays are going to be this general type of, we're just going to talk about whatever, which is what Madness Hour started off as, but now Madness Hour will strictly be about like history, paranormal, and politics, or on pro wrestling. And there's a little bit of politics mixed in with that. So Madness Hour is not going to be happening all the time. It's going to be a once in a while thing because Jeremy's pretty busy. You know, he has his own family to take care of. So, and everybody's different with their availability for live streaming. So Madness Hour will continue on, but it'll be here and there. And this may be a weekly thing going forward because I do want to talk with all you, and I do like getting my thoughts out here. And as far as the new deep dives, though, what caught my attention to do this other one is this pamphlet. And you can see New Paris, Pennsylvania. This is a hill. And I picked this pamphlet up when I was on a road trip to Gettysburg. This is a hill that you park your car on. Or you don't park it, you put it in neutral. And it goes up the hill. And so I looked into a little more about this place. And it turns out there's more than one gravity hill. And they're all over the world. So my next new live stream that I will be starting will be about gravity hills. And we're going to look into the different locations of what Gravity Hill is, and like what are the elements at play. But here, where I thought it was just one place, it turns out there's a lot of places. But maybe we'll start with this New Paris, Pennsylvania location, and then we'll look at all the others that are in the U.S. and around the world. But I think this plays in directly to what we've been looking into with Coral Castle. So if you've been following that along, which I know a lot of you have, this is also right up there with it, playing with the laws of physics, because there's a lot of strange things going on, and this is one of them. It was fascinating enough for me to pick this up at a truck stop. So I'll read the back of this pamphlet real quick. Have you ever wanted to defy gravity? Sure, you could book a seat on a spaceship, but by the time you buy your ticket and drive to the launch site, you'll have well over $20 invested. For a lot less money, free actually, you can defy gravity at Gravity Hill in New Paris, Pennsylvania. Gravity Hill is a phenomenon. Cars roll uphill. Water flows the wrong way. It's a place where gravity has gone haywire. Why does this happen? Some speculate that it is an optical illusion. Others think there's a warp in the Earth's gravity. Don't look for the theme park or gift shop. Gravity Hill is a remote spot on a remote road in a remote corner of Bedford County. So yeah. So we'll be doing this. And then there's another series I want to do on Deep Dive, and that's going to be based on the American financial system. I was going to grab the books, but I don't want to put you on another intermission here. So I have Ron Paul's End the Fed. I want to read that here with you. I've already read most of the book, and I never finished it before. So we're going to sit through and read the whole thing here. And part of that American financial system deep dive series after End the Fed will be the Rockefeller Syndrome, which is another book about the elites and monetary policy. And then last but not least, probably the most important of them all, is the creature from Jekyll Island. The Jekyll from Creature Island. Yeah, it's the creature from Jekyll Island, and that's about the creation of the Federal Reserve. So we got all that going. Man. So those would be probably Wednesday and Friday shows once I start getting those going. And then that's really filling out my schedule. Then I will only have one day off, which would be Monday. But like I said before, I won't be doing the deep dives weekly after a certain point, because I'll have ran out of things to cover on the subjects. But there's a lot of stuff to cover. I just need to do the research beforehand. Like, I've accumulated a lot of these books that material that I'm sharing here now over many years, and that I'm just now presenting it to you all here. And yeah, that's that. So I got those things going on, and then yeah, eventually let's see what this immortal script is all about, and let's put it to bed. And again, there's probably truth in some of what Tom's saying, maybe even most of what Tom's saying. But just based off of how he ended this whole endeavor, makes me question a lot of things about him. And now that I've given him over 6 months of time to figure out whether he wants to reconnect or not, and he's obviously chosen not to. Now it's my turn to choose what to do with the material that I have and what I've found out, and that includes talking about Penny L.A. Shepherd and hearing from Susie. So I'm gonna try to get those Beyond the Box clips up here on this channel, because Beyond the Box gave me permission to do that, and since it's relevant to this whole Tom thing, I most likely will put it in the playlist with the interviews. If anything else is relevant to those interviews, it's going to be added to that playlist. I'll probably put that Q&A link in there that I did when I recorded myself at Tom's house that I sent in the chat here. I think I'll add that to the playlist too, since it's important. And then I did do a 15-minute live stream the day that Tom decided to cut everything off. And he texted me while I was doing that live stream, where I just, at the beginning, shortly said that like he had to cancel, so we're not doing a show. So I was just going to do a Saturday stream. That's what I called it. And then he texts me saying he's watching, after he says that he had things to do and is busy. And that bullshit doesn't fly here. So I stopped that stream, and that's when I made the part 23 stream and just ripped right into everything he was dishing me. And it's just too bad. It's just too bad, so sad. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime guy. Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire. I almost know the whole song. All right, we are at 2 hours and 30 minutes. Should I play a little bit for you? Let's play myself out here. We're gonna end for today, but make sure to come back on Tuesday. We'll be doing the Ed Lead Skull and Inch Coral Castle stuff. We're getting into that one research paper where it will start talking about Coral Castle, and hopefully we'll finish that up tomorrow or Tuesday. And Thursday, Bermuda Triangle. Saturdays, Chicago film industry. I think you know what I'm trying to play. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a good rest of your day. It's a beautiful day out there. Get some sun. Touch the grass. Till the next one, everyone. Class dismissed.